All right, it's 6:30. We'll call this meeting to order. This meeting and all other meetings of this council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with the Wisconsin statutes, so the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda. Call to order, roll call.
Appleby. Here. Gunderson.
Here.
Kemp.
Here.
Nadowski.
Here.
Rasmussen.
Here.
Absent is Bruce Brunner.
All right, well, please stand for the pledge of allegiance, led by Shanny.
What direction do we stand?
Straight ahead.
Flag anywhere.
Flag's over that way.
Straight ahead.
Okay, yep. What's in the other room?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
With one change, is that we're moving up the closed session to what time?
After Frank, so probably about 6:45, we do have to call Attorney Kelly, so.
Okay.
Motion made, seconded to approve the agenda with the modification. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion approved. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting from the common council of June 15th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 15th.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the meeting minutes from June 15th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We move to number 4, citizen appearance. Frank.
Thank you very much, and I'll start out by apologizing for the switch here. We did not know anything about that until our meeting at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We are very disappointed that it happened, and we hope that this will not occur again. And on the lighter side, I thought I would have to say I'll get out of here so you have room, but it doesn't look like we're going to need too much extra room. About the only thing that I have to report on the library situation is, for the first time in a few months, we're actually rising up again in our attendance. It is up at, I think, close to 20% over last year at this point. We don't know if it's the heat, we're air conditioned, if it's any other reasons, but we're happy to see it. We're not finding that as a trend in other libraries right now, so hopefully there's something going on there. And the only thing that I have, and it pays to talk to you folks, because sometimes you have answers for me, we're looking for about 10 to 12 library shelves. It's the old Buckstaff shelving that we have. The ones we're looking for are 35 by 9.5. If somebody has any idea, I need about 10 or 12 of them. I checked with Nufke the other day, and they will make the shelves for us. For 12 of them, they'll be happy to do it for $420, which I think is a little bit out of line. I am going to Appleton tomorrow. I'll be doing some shopping at Menards in a couple places. My main concern is I can rip it to size if I have to do that. It's more or less the stain, so we stay somewhat in line with what we have upstairs. And what Nufke had was quite light and would not fit in with what we had. So if you know anybody, or if you know anybody that would like to earn a couple bucks and make some shelves for us and stain them, let me know, please. Not that we're in a big rush, but we'd like to get it done within the next month or so. Otherwise, any questions on your part?
No.
Thank you.
Thanks much, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
And then from there, we're going to go to number 13. Go into closed session. Make a motion, we go into closed session. You want me to read it all first?
Somebody will have to read,
I can-
so that we lay out for the record what the,
All right, I'll make a motion to go to closed session pursuant to 19.85 Wisconsin statute, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The reason for the closed session is to discuss ordinance regarding the railroad. The council may choose to resume or will choose to resume in open session at the completion of the closed session in order to take action on the items from the closed session.
I'll second your motion.
Motion been made and seconded to go into closed session. Roll call.
Appleby?
Aye.
Kemp?
Aye.
Gunderson?
Aye.
Rasmussen?
Aye.
Nadowski?
Aye.
Motion carried. We'll be in closed session.
What time is it, 6?
6:35.
All right, we'll continue with this meeting, and we'll go to number 6 on the agenda, Finance Committee. Keith?
A couple things. Patrick, did you want to go to Heartland first or wait till we get down to that item?
Which item are they? The third
Aye.
one?
Yeah, the 5th one down. These ones are pretty straightforward though.
They'll be pretty quick, we can get there.
Okay.
The way
I'll
it's
just start out. First thing I'll present is a motion of the purchase of Workhorse financial software for the city.
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of Workhorse financial software.
All right, second it.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the purchase of Workers Financial Software.
The dollar amount, $24,000 up front.
Didn't say that on there.
If you need that in the motion, I don't think we put it in the motion, but it's
No, it's not.
$24,000 up front.
Okay.
I think it should be in the motion.
Go ahead, edit.
Amend that motion.
Yep. Oh, Scott actually had that one, so.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, next I'll make a motion to approve the developers agreement with Allegheny Co-op Services for their travel plaza.
I'll make the motion to approve the.
We just need a second. I'll make the motions right off the bat,
You wanna make the motions off the bat? All right, then I will second it.
just to make it easier.
Good enough. I'll second.
Beautiful.
Motion made and seconded to approve the development agreement between Outagamie Co-op Services.
This lays out the cost share on the infrastructure improvements. It protects the city. The city attorney drafted it. I can tell you that through the negotiations over the last few months, everything that we had asked for, we're getting. And that's not true on the other side, but this is a good agreement for us. The cost share for the infrastructure is going to be 100% to them for water and sewer. By ordinance, we require anybody that asks for water and sewer to pay for it all. And then they're gonna pay the south side of Lakeshore Drive for new curb, just like everybody else usually does, 100% for their section. And then the road and the intersection, we were able to get 1/3 for Outagamie Co-op to pay, and then 2/3 is what the city will cover. And again, the site plan was approved last month. They have a sign permit that's been approved. All of these approvals that you've given them have been contingent on each other, on these other items, and this is the last contingency that's hanging out there. We're looking at lining up the infrastructure improvements to start construction like mid-August, but that would first rely on this agreement being approved. It's going to be delivered to them tomorrow, if it's approved tonight, to get their signature. And then we're gonna require a down payment of their estimated share, which is close to $74,000, that they would have to pay up front before we get moving on the improvements, so. It's a good agreement, and like I said, it's drafted by the city attorney and meets his approval, and for the 1.5, 2 years we've been working on this type of a project, it's suitable.
I guess I'd like to see if people approve this, but I see they got heavy equipment moved out there already. And their history of balking and taking time and backing off,
Yeah,
I want them to know that them backhoes don't dig a hole until we get that check,
okay,
you know. I mean, if you all agree with that, if you
Absolutely.
don't,
Yeah,
tell
I
me
do.
about it.
No.
Because they've got a history of doing that to us. And before they, all of a sudden, they got ground opening out there, and God knows when we'll see it then.
and that's up to you guys. The site plan, which is what would enable them to start doing groundwork, which is what Fox Brothers had indicated to me they would be doing, not the digging for the foundation, they'd be looking at site excavation. That site plan is contingent on a development agreement being reached. Now, the infrastructure costs, in this development agreement and the infrastructure improvements, those are contingent on getting a check from them.
Okay.
But it's up to you guys, you know, I think,
So in other words, they can lay out things on the ground, they can't put anything structure or
Right.
physically in.
and the protection you have is that they can't open their business until the infrastructure improvements are completed. We can't start the infrastructure improvements until they've made their down payment. Does that help?
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep.
All right, motion been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried, thank you.
Alright, next, make a motion to purchase the Exchange and Microsoft Office volume licensing solution for a cost of, do you have that cap cost in front of you, Patrick?
The quote, I think it's $18,250.
$18,000, roughly.
Roughly. I just looked at it in the packet here, and of course it's,
18,490.68.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's
This is getting everybody up to speed with the Microsoft.
licensing and then the email with the exchange. The alternative was to go with Microsoft 365, which is the cloud-based. You'd have an annual payment, and the thought at the committee was that roughly in 5 years, you would break even. And with the exchange, you wouldn't be paying for it anymore, whereas with 365, you would be. That was one of the considerations.
I will second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve exchange of Microsoft Office volume licensing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you.
Alright, next I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2016 budget calendar.
I'll second that as well.
Motion made and seconded to approve the 216 budget calendar.
Yep, this.
Any discussion?
Very similar to the last couple of years. It's gonna be through September that at the department head level, we'll be working on the budget. And again, early October, when your committees start to meet, that'll be the first round through committee. In October, typically the council signs off or approves a budget and then publishes that in the paper. And then in November is when you take up the final budget, you set the tax levy.
Okay.
So we're looking at, again, all of September we'll be working on it, October you'll review it, and then in November you'll review it again.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
This one you might wanna lay out what the recommendation was.
Just lay out the
And
recommendation
then,
first.
yeah, and then we can chat about it, and you do have reps from Heartland here as well.
Okay. Well, this is a big one, so it's a motion, I'll make a motion to, purchase the components as laid out by Heartland. In detail, it's network cabling for $40,000 and $40,590. Security camera system, this is all for the city hall, by the way, $30,303. The door access system, which is 23 doors, $52,463. Equipping the police interview room with the proper equipment, damage-proof video capability, $7,228. Equipping the 3 meeting rooms, getting those wired up, $8,000 minus the TVs. The community room, $10,000. That's going with the whole wiring package and Blu-ray minus the TVs. Council chamber AV, $85,304. So a total estimated cost of $233,891.30.
We laying that out, or
No, so,
make,
you want, like the discussion that we had at the
sure,
committee
if
meeting?
you'd like to, and then we do have a couple layouts here with cameras and door access too.
Yeah, so we discussed it quite a bit at the committee meeting. The things that we were looking at is if you take away portions and say go with a broken down version in say like the meeting rooms or in the community room, really what you're doing is cutting down the capability to have everything set up and ready to go where the community can use it. The recommendation and the discussion was based around the fact that if you're building a new city hall, you're better off doing it right while you're building it. You're gonna save on costs long term. Because otherwise, if you try to change something later or you want to have something wired in that isn't already in the plans. You're adding a lot of extra cost, and you're ripping up a brand-new building. So we really, discussed in detail why we wanted to do that, and it was basically so that we can bring the city's, hall into the future and allow it to grow as the community grows.
Very good. That's exactly what we discussed.
I don't have a motion yet.
I have made a motion.
You made a motion, you got a second?
I will second.
We got a motion made and seconded to approve what he just saw read. Now, have anybody else got any discussion or questions?
Yeah.
Okay, they're right here.
I'll lay out real quick. So you've got 2 handouts. One is the camera locations. The one thing I would add to the cameras, and the green cameras are actually 2 in the council chambers, 1 in the police interview room. Those are cameras in the building that have been spec'd out in the bids, construction bids. But those are the 3 that we're looking at. Part of the boardroom aspect would be with those 2, and then the police interview room would be that other camera. That gives you an idea where the cameras would be located. One thing we are looking at is adding a camera to the front door, to the front entrance on the north side. Because you'll see on the bottom there are pink cameras, those are exterior. On the back, we are looking at, depending on which way the council chooses to go, whether we add one on the front. The other handout you have then too is the door access location alternatives. Now the first alternative we looked into was to key fob every door in the building, and there were, I believe, 36 to 38 doors. And because we assumed that would save money to cut back from that, we did. So we had that out there, we threw that out. The construction was bid out with 23 doors being key fobbed, and when you include the 23 doors, that includes all of the door hardware that Immel is providing. And so then, you can see on this map here, the green dots are what we identified as the priority doors, and there's 10 of those. And so with that, the priority is, if you're going to put in key fobs for certain entrances, those are the 10 that should be for sure. If you're gonna do any, it's those 10. And it's usually the first line of entry from the outside of the building, and also the evidence room. From there, then the pink doors are the optional, the term optional is what we put in the RFQ, or what we put in when we were talking to the vendors. There's, I believe, 13 of those, and those doors then are, maybe not the high priority doors that need a key fob, but if you would have a second level, that's what those would be. That gets you to 23. There is one door that is not shown on here, and that would be the server room. When we identify where that's going to be, the thought would be, if you're going with 23 doors, that you would have a key fob on the server room.
Which do you mean as a server room?
There will be a room, so that the network and the
Oh, okay.
city server will
Alright,
be
yeah.
secured, not just in my office
Yeah, I was
above my
looking at
head.
server as server.
Yeah, the
That's
network server. So other than that, you do have Doug and Mike Bees, Doug Westmeyer and Mike Bees from Heartland, if you have any questions of them. Real quick, what I can probably clarify is the door access system. Early on in our discussions, we talked about whether a 10-door or a 23-door system. Basically the question was, if we only build 10, do we have the capability to go to 23? Or if we connect City Hall to the treatment plant, are we able to hook those doors onto this system? And at first we talked about potentially the 10-door may have a smaller, less capable system installed. But in talking with Heartland had actually quoted the same door access system for 10 doors and for 23 doors. The difference up front is $20,000, $21,000. So if you wanted to go with 10, one of the questions at committee was, making sure that you had the flexibility to add more if you needed to. With the 10-door system, you would. With the 23-door system, you would too. The couple thoughts there would be, if you only put in 10 doors right now, depending on what you do with the door hardware, you might have to change the doors in the future, you might have to wire through to those doors. And then the system itself might have, might cost a little bit more than what it costs right now if you wanna add in the future, so.
And what does the wiring entail for the doors? I mean, is it,
We just need to make sure we get electric down the door top so that when you scan it in, it goes to the server, sees it, and
Okay.
unlocks it, so Patrick, yeah, he's absolutely 100%. And we did originally talk, when we originally talked at 10, we were gonna put a less expensive, but then, then it was 32 doors, and then, so we just felt, all right, let's give you the capability to expand. We didn't wanna put you in a rough spot and saying, okay, 10, and that's about as big as we can get. With this system, yeah, you can, it's in the Pentagon, guys, so, and ladies, so you can expand this as big as you want.
okay.
Anybody else got any questions?
Do they have any comments or anything like that?
Anybody got comments? Frank, go ahead.
Just one question, on the camera locations, is this going to be on some kind of a viewing where the cameras are located, where you can see each spot?
Yeah, well, they'll all come back, to a location. What was interesting is Heartland had gone with us or invited us to go to the village of Little Chute, and I think Brandon, you were there, the chief, myself, and Thad, we all went there. And at the front desk in Little Chute, they have a big screen TV behind the receptionist, and it rolls through some of the more public areas. And so when you walk in the building, you're aware that there's a camera system and that it's rolling through it, which was interesting. But the cameras themselves will probably go back to the city office and the police office too. But that wouldn't be a public viewing station.
And is it an expandable system? I'm talking from the library where all of a sudden, boy, if we would have had a camera there, can we add a camera? Is this system expandable?
Yes, it is,
Yeah, I would
absolutely.
defer to Heartland on those questions, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
guy behind you.
He mentioned the library. Are you saying adding a camera here at the
No,
library to
no,
connect
no,
to the
no,
city hall
no, but
system?
we,
Okay.
I'm on the library board.
Okay,
Oh,
And the library decided we needed something by a back door, and luckily we were able to get that on the monitor and into the system.
we'll add it to your existing system.
Exactly,
Okay.
that's why I'm
Okay.
Okay.
making sure it's expandable.
no, absolutely. Down the line, if, you guys decide you need a camera on the side to look down the street or something, absolutely, you can add to this.
The other thing I want to mention too is there were talks about connecting Public Works, or not Public Works,
Wastewater.
treatment plant.
Yeah.
Depending on the internet connection between the two buildings, the cameras could be added there as well and be viewed at City Hall.
That's not a bad idea either.
No.
Anybody else got a question? Got a motion on the floor? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Do you need them for anybody else, or anything else?
No,
No? Guys did a good job, thanks for coming.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to this project.
You did a thorough job, because it was pretty well explained, so
Well, we've been working on it for a long time, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, let's see,
Grab a minute with them real quick.
sure.
Rick,
I'll let you know.
Do you want me to hold up or keep
if you
going?
could, yeah.
Okay,
I'm sure it'll be real quick.
yeah.
It's not only a real quick thing. You scared us there, you said that was a real quick,
Yeah, it was real quick. That one was.
Giving us false hope, Patrick.
Yeah. Well, not on that one, I delivered on that one.
All right, do we have the right numbers on this one, Patrick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Just figured I'd check before I went in.
Yeah, it was a little hiccup with the move there, so.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion for resolution 568. It's a resolution reducing the tax equivalent payable to the city of Weyauwega by the water utility, for 2014 and 15. Basically, it's saying that we're not gonna charge the waste treatment plant taxes. in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
The water utility. Yep.
Water utility.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions?
That's just it. We just need a formal resolution. It's an item that came up at the end of the audit. And at the finance committee, our auditors came, gave a report. You're allowed on some level for the water utility to pay what the taxes could be on our water utility property. But what we've done over the years is we've just waived that. So we're not having the water department pay back the general fund at all. It's just a zero for 2014, and then for 2015, it sets the resolution. We just have to have it signed and then sent on to the auditors in file.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
All right, next up, motion for resolution 569. It's a resolution amending the 2014 budget. That one was to fix
sorry.
from the audit from last year.
Fix from the audit.
Yeah, it's to take from the amount that we transfer to the capital fund. We transfer $300,000. This one, the items that are listed for the general government, those are the items that we ran over budget, and it's due to, the big one was we budgeted based on the legal expense that we had in the past, and then mid-year you changed firms, and with that firm, they had to go back, do a lot of catching up. We had some municipal court things where they did a lot of extra work. You'll see in your budget reports now, we've broken out the city attorney, I guess, jobs or their different roles. We're breaking them out in the budget. So prosecution is on its own. You'll see that's the very big area, especially with the railroad. But basically, we were budgeting for the attorneys at a level that we had in the past. And there's two things there. One is that last year was a catch-up year, and then also our budget is realistically going to be closer to a higher amount than what we had in the past. We also, because of our financial software, we brought in our auditors to not only audit, but also audit our books and then audit the financial software transition. As a result of that, we've been talking for quite a while about how our financial software has not been a very good thing. And I appreciate the first item here tonight. You did approve Workhorse. That's a step in the right direction to solve that, because our auditors work with that software quite a bit. And with the software that we've had, we're the only customer that they have, and it's been a struggle for sure. So there is for audit work in there, but that's what this resolution is. We had an idea that we would amend the budget back in 2014, but the problem was filtering through a lot of the TIF legal fees. At first, they were put into the general fund, and in the creation for the AgriPure project, TIF creation, the legal fees were billed all in one bill, so having to break those out. We did that at the end of the year with the audit, so we waited until our auditors came to us and said, here's where all your final numbers are, and to make sure that we come in at our budget, because it's illegal to be over budget, let it stand, we're amending the 2014 budget. Okay?
Any questions?
You're still looking for a second.
I'm looking for a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
All right, next I'll make a motion to approve checks 31511 through check number 31585 totaling $177,394.94 and the monthly financial statement.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
We
Thank
need a
you.
roll call on that?
Yeah, we need a roll call.
Okay,
Thanks, Keith.
we gotta do a roll call, I
Oh, now
guess.
you gotta do it again.
Yeah.
Roll
Oh,
call
roll
on that
call,
one,
that's
yeah, on the
right.
bills in the report.
That's right, for the
Yep.
bills. Yeah.
Appleby,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Kemp,
Aye.
Gunderson,
Aye.
Nadowski.
Aye.
All ayes.
Now we go to number 6, Public Works, and Mr. Brother's not here, so go back to Keith again.
All
Floor.
Next, I'll make a motion to approve the pay request number 2 for B15 for a total of $20,794.38. and that is the 3rd Street, correct?
This is the final bill on the 3rd Avenue work for the sewer and asphalt repair.
I'll second.
Motion made, seconded to approve the B-15 pay request. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Alright, next I'd like to make a motion to approve the change order for the storm sewer revision on Lakeshore Drive project. So that deals with the Weyauwega co-op. Because we're widening it, we have to actually move out the storm sewers as well.
Yes, the original plan was to use, so we're gonna widen the intersection and the storm sewer sits there, right in the curb today. We were gonna flat grate those and just leave them offset into the road. But being that those grates are actually in the state highway right away, the DOT didn't sign off on that at all. And so I believe is it roughly $3,000?
That's what we discussed.
Yeah, it's laid out. What you're approving here is the change order in concept, and then the official change order will come in with the next month's meetings. But basically what we're doing is we're moving these, as per DOT directive, moving them into the new curb line. And then that would fall into the 1/3 share to Weyauwega co-op, 2/3 back to the city. And Weyauwega co-op's aware of that there's a price change on that.
I got a motion, I have a second.
I'll second the approval of that change order.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Alright, next, make a motion to add a sidewalk extension to West Main Street with Lakeshore Drive improvements. Basically extending right along that.
If anybody don't know where that is, that's when they redid Main Street, they stopped the sidewalk for some reason short of going to the corner. So basically it's across from the drive-in there a little bit. They're gonna go, when the new intersection is put in, they'll run the sidewalk all the way out so that there's a handicap or access in the curb and then on the other side too. So if somebody wants to go to the gas station, subway, they can handicap accessible all the way.
There's 2 items we're looking at with that. You don't have a price yet. If you look into the house on the corner, there's a big slope. It's a hill there that the road is cut into. The sidewalk has to be within an inch or 2 of the actual curb. So we'll have to dig down to get that sidewalk in. 2 of the options that Cedar Corp is looking at, if you approve the concept of adding a sidewalk. One of the options would be we dig down and then put in some kind of a retaining wall. The other option then would be we don't put a retaining wall in, but we grade back. I believe it's the Cook residence there.
Yeah.
So when you put in the sidewalk, you grade back. One of the issues we've got there is in the past they've had water freeze-ups. Now we bored a new line under the road, so in the city right of way, it's deep enough, but their private service from the edge of the right of way into their house, I don't believe was replaced, so that may still be shallow. So one of the things we might look at is if you go the grading route, is try to put some kind of insulation over the top of the valve there, try to help them out. But the thought would be if you extend the sidewalk, it would be at city cost, and we would do it as part of the B-15 project for Lakeshore Drive.
Thanks for clarifying that.
I was just about to ask that if you're gonna add it to the master plan sidewalks.
Yes, that would be the intent.
Actually, it was part of the master plan originally, that somehow got left off when they redid the road. Any other questions? Okay,
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second to approve the sidewalk extension on West Main. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried, thank you.
Alright, next I'll make a motion to approve Crane Engineering quote for the wastewater treatment plant sludge conveyor, belts, rollers, replacement for $17,500.
We got a motion
I'll second.
and a second. I think we talked about this quite a few times already, and then we had bids on it. This is obviously
Yeah, this
the bid
was-
that helps us the most.
Yep, it's this or it's 41,000 with the other contractor, so this is and this fully repairs, replaces everything with the sludge conveyor, and again, it's outside of the treatment plant project, it's a maintenance related item, so.
Yeah.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried, thank you.
All right, next is a motion to approve pay request number 1 for contract A15 totaling $126,000, or $26,094.92. And that is the first pay request on the treatment plant.
Treatment plant, right. I got a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Patrick, you wanna do some explaining on that?
Yeah, so we had a special meeting tonight at 6:15 of the Public Works Committee. They recommended to approve this pay request. A little bit of a hiccup in the contract, where we lay out what their process is to turn in their bills. Cedar Corp as our construction administrator, construction manager, they review the bills. They usually need a couple days, to review it and then send it on to us for committee review. What happened was, typically, like with City Hall and the other projects, we've asked for a deadline to come to us of the Friday before the meeting. And the way the contract was laid out, these guys actually turned it in the day of the meeting. So Myron submitted it on the day of the meeting. Technically, they met everything that was in the contract, but we didn't have enough notice last Monday to get it on the agenda. One of the good faith efforts that we had was, because it's $120-some thousand bill and because they're incurring costs, we had said, well, at this point, we could hopefully, with the blessing of the Public Works Committee, run it through for tonight and then look at modifying that for next month. Because again, all these pay requests, I believe you guys had requested that all of them come through the committee and not just the final one like we've typically done in the past, so.
Okay. Everybody understand?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, and I thank you. Police and Fire, Mr. Kemp.
No action at this time.
Public Health, Shani.
No action for council at this time.
Rec Committee,
All right, I'd like to make a motion to waive the swim fees for the community Summerfest.
we got a motion
I'll second it.
and a second to waive the swim fees for Community Fest. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the increased base pay rate for certified lifeguards from $7.25 an hour to $7.50 an hour.
I'll second that.
Motion made and
I'll second.
seconded for pay raise for lifeguards. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Public Works, Scott.
No action at this time for council, thank you.
And the Planning Commission has no action. New business, we have to approve the street use permit for the fire department for the dance on August 8th. That's the dance they have at the fire station, but they close off the street so Brandon can dance out in the middle of the street, so.
So moved.
Any
I'll second.
questions?
So moved by Alderman Kemp.
We
I'll
got a
second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Who did the
Opposed?
second?
I did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And also then we have to approve a Class B retailer's license for the fire department so they can sell beverages, beer, matter of fact.
So moved.
Got a
I'll second
motion
that.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nobody. Thank you. Well, number 8, that's me. I guess I really don't have a whole lot today, but I'm really glad to see that this construction stuff has been put through after 6-7 years of debating, arguing, discussing, and like tonight now we're gotta be about to the last thing, I think, that has to
Furniture,
be
yeah.
approved.
Furniture, we gotta go through yet.
We gotta get furniture
We're
yet,
getting
but
quotes this week
the
yet.
big stuff is done, the headaches are done, and I think we took a lot off of Patrick's mind. And I certainly appreciate all you people that have been working on it. And I'm here a short time, you were working on it longer than I was, and I worked on it before when I was on the council, and I appreciate all the help. And the other thing I'd like to bring up is that I think you all know there was some robbery, thieving, whatever, stealing stuff going on in the city here. And I wanna commend the chief and especially our part-time officer Curtis for some very diligent work and for solving that and catching the culprits and filing complaints and actually getting some stuff back from stolen stuff. We're going to get it back, and it's just think Jerry and his boys need a pat on the back for that. And everything, I heard nothing but compliments from anybody. I guess the railroads finally got the crossing fixed. I think it's, we complained enough, and maybe we gotta find them a little more next time. I thought that was pretty nice, that's done. Other than that, I guess I don't have anything else. Administrator,
Yep, just real quick, we talked about this, I believe, at the finance committee.
Just real quick.
It'll be real quick. I see we've got a good thing
Got
going
another
today,
quick
so keep it going.
just been out, I don't get a soda.
Yeah, we talked at committee about a groundbreaking ceremony for the treatment plant and the city hall municipal building project. At first, I think we talked about this Thursday, the 23rd. What we ended up doing is modifying that a little bit to get it to the 30th, which is a week from this Thursday. And right now, tentatively, well, it's gonna be published in the paper this week, but we're looking at about 5:30 down at the treatment plant. We'll have a ceremony, and then at 6 o'clock, we'll go back downtown, have a ceremony downtown, and then also the idea right now is to have refreshments afterwards. We are gonna put out the invite to local, state, federal representatives, the media. Angie has agreed to put something in the paper this week, so that'll be a good thing. One of the reasons for delaying it is to give us a little bit more time to notify all those people that might be interested. And then also, there's some abatement that's going on inside the building, inside the municipal building. And Immel had basically said that after the 23rd, it's gonna start to clear up a little bit, where they'll, I guess, invite people to be close to the area there. Just today, you'll probably notice downtown that they did fence off their construction prep area in the back. They've worked with the bank, they've worked with the brew house. They've worked out pretty good terms, I think, to set the fence where those businesses are amicable to having the fence, so that's a good thing. We are aiming for May 8th of 2016 as the substantial completion for the City Hall project. We do have a schedule for each project that lays out by the day, by the week, what's gonna happen, what's going on there. The City Hall one, I believe, is 2 pages long. Treatment plant is probably 8 to 10, so, and obviously it's a little bit more technical. Other than that, I was notified the first week in July that while we're with the League of Wisconsin Municipalities Mutual Insurance, they subcontract to different agencies around the state to be like your insurance agent, and we've been with Westland Insurance out of Toma. Terry Kristen was here last year. Westland does not have an agreement, or they didn't renew an agreement to work for the league anymore, and instead of giving us a new agent to take that area, they just sort of had our region from here west to Toma absorbed into the adjoining regions. And so we will now be with Burkhardt Heisdorf Agency. They've got I think an office in the Fox Valley, they got an office in Green Lake, one in Sheboygan. And the good news with them is that the year before I came here, when I was in Ashwaubenon, they switched to the league, and Burkhardt Heisdorf is the group that we worked with, and so I've got a good rapport with them, so it's a real good thing. I did ask them within the next month or two if they could come to your full council meeting, and then also bring Dennis Tweedale, which is the CEO for the league insurance. And they said because they're starting to take on a lot of smaller communities in our area, they would hope to do that like in September, which should be a good thing. Other than that, that's pretty much all I've got. We're in the temporary office at 123 East Main and making it work.
Good, thank you. Police chief.
2 things. First is we spent the last month working out of one building into another one. All of my staff came in and pitched in way above and beyond to get it moved up and down the stairs. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be missing that trip. To get all of our stuff out, and in the move we discovered that we needed certain things, like we can't have a common area with bullets laying out, so we have acquired a gun safe. And I had some technology issues for a few days that prohibit us from scanning, which we didn't see at the police committee meeting because it didn't work. Hopefully all that's gonna be rectified this week yet. And the other thing is, they really did knock it out of the park with this investigation this week. It's funny how fast things go. The mayor and some others have some thefts and burglaries overnight on Wednesday. And midday on Thursday, we had one person in custody. and that person being arrested led us to getting a search warrant of the property we believed stolen items were. We got the search warrant, went in, arrested the other suspect who was in the house. We also took drugs and some stolen property from burglaries last year. So both of those subjects went to jail. Curtis did do a great job, but it was a team effort. That's it.
Good job to the police department and all their efforts, once
Did a
again.
good job. Number 11, such other matters. I don't have any that I know of. Anybody else got something they want? Frank?
Just a question of Pat, when that insurance is here, remember you and I discussed on the value of the building here?
Yes.
Can we touch on that subject when they're here?
Yes, so there's two topics. I've got one other one I gotta add to, but one of the topics is just insuring the treatment plant at City Hall, because the values that we have, when we were with the league property fund, or the local government property fund, that was our property insurer. The expectation was that they would send somebody out to check the values that we were telling them we had. And in reality, the local government property fund just works as a fund, sort of a bank of insurance. And so they didn't check any of the values, but we also have our 2 construction projects going right now. So what we asked was, well, can somebody come out and try to get some kind of evaluation?
Okay.
So we're thinking in September they'll be back through, we'll take a look at all of our values, or at least try to roughly look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The other item I've got real quick is we did have some turnover in Public Works. Eric has taken a new job in De Pere, and we talked at committee a little bit about how we replace that position, and the thought is you've had an empty supervisory position in Public Works. There's a little bit more at the ordinance committee that we talked about, because your ordinances are set up where that position is set up like an official of the city, which isn't the case, so there's a little bit of ordinance cleaning we need to do. But the thought would be, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we can get a posting up to replace that full-time position. I thought we would pull together enough for tonight to maybe take action, but I think hopefully maybe in the next week or 2 we could have a special meeting, or at least consider one to get those posted.
Okay, thank you. And with that, set the meeting calendar for August.
Right now, finance is set for August 3rd at 6 p.m. Public Works is the following Monday, August 10th at 6 p.m. And then council is August 17th at 6:30. When do we want to schedule police?
Can we make it on the
We
4th?
have to be there at noon.
Because I know on the 11th I'm going to be working second shift again. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
August 4th,
Sure.
6 o'clock?
Sure, can we do recreation the same day? Again? Is that okay?
Will you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you.
So police at 6 in Rectifowl. Will that work?
Sure. Either way you want it.
Okay. Ordinance, are we going to do an ordinance meeting?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to wait and see what county schedules like?
Probably, but we do, I think you asked him to give you recommendations on the vicious
Yeah.
animals, the
Yeah.
ethics,
Yep.
and then with the city officers and officials. You could probably set a date, and then if it doesn't work for him, maybe we could move it, or have him hook up by phone, or he could write you a memo and you could go off of that.
Okay,
Can you make it the same week? The first week?
sure. Well, who else is on there with us? Keith?
Keith?
Keith, you're gone, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be out of town.
Okay, so Wednesday the 5th work?
Works?
Right, what time for you?
6.
Sure.
Okay.
Got them all?
Think so.
And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I'll second.
Motion to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
7:56.